a pirate is a recipe.
I taught my kids how to pirate. Yep, I taught them how to torrent, my elementary school kids. Because on December 31st of 2023, PlayStation announced that they were deleting 1,318 seasons of Discovery programming from customer libraries. Mythbusters, Deadliest Catch, Shark Week, shows people had purchased, not rented, purchased, gone. Warner Brothers Discovery decided maintaining that content wasn't worth the cost, so they just deleted it. But then my kids asked me a question that I really couldn't dodge, and I had to explain to them. They asked me, "Dad, what about all the stuff that's on our Plex server?" So in this really short video for the next 15 minutes or so, I'm just gonna kind of casually talk about why corporations are creating a generation that don't know how to preserve their own media, why younger kids today can edit videos across 3 different mobile apps, but the second that you ask them to find a downloaded file on a desktop, they just start panicking, and why learning how to pirate or download or torrent or whatever you want to call it, how it can teach you that that's just the way it is, doesn't always have to be that way. And more often than not, that's just the way we designed it. Because something that I don't really see a lot of people talking about, despite this being one of the first fully digital generations, like all-encompassing digital generations, we are still having a lot of trouble preserving the memories that really matter to us. It's all being held by corporations who control what we see and when we can, and paywalling all of it at the same time.
Step on it, Daddy.
That PlayStation announcement revealed something that most people don't want to think about. You don't own anything digital. You're renting permission to access it. And that permission expires whenever it's no longer profitable to maintain. Now watch how this same pattern shows up in something you have probably dealt with at least once in your life. My kids can edit videos across like 3 different apps simultaneously. There are Gen Alpha kids that understand the YouTube algorithm better than like Mr. Beast probably. But you ask a young kid in elementary or middle school how to find a downloaded file on their desktop or laptop computer, actually finding where the file lives, and genuine panic sets in. That's been my kid before, and that's not their failure. That's intentional design by platforms that profit from her not understanding how these systems work. When you don't understand where your information lives, you can't preserve it.
Ship that keeps Captain Hook afloat, shrink into a tiny boat. Whoa!
When you can't preserve it, you're permanently dependent on whoever controls access. And when they decide it's not profitable anymore, it disappears. That is the business model. That's it. You want to watch Pokemon from the beginning? Season 1? It's on Netflix, I believe. Most of the middle seasons are somewhere on Amazon Prime.
There is a website that tells you how to watch this. You start off on Netflix, then swap over to the Pokemon streaming service, which is the only place that has season 2.
But the rest of it, it's all just a complete mishmash of separate services, multiple services managing multiple subscriptions, realizing that any season that you want is going to be on another platform. This is fragmentation as a very deliberate business model. Same content scattered across corporations, each charging separately. Not because it has to work this way, because it's more profitable this way.
If you love Trolls like Leah, Netflix has Trolls Holiday, but not Trolls Holiday in Harmony, which is on Hulu. If you love the first half of Titanic, that's on Crackle, but then you gotta switch over to Vudu to watch the rest of the movie.
It's owning something versus renting permission to see something while the corporation pretends that you own it. Like, I know a lot of millennials and probably a lot of older Gen Z, we all grew up in this era where downloading the wrong MP3 file from like LimeWire or Kazaa could completely just mess up your family's computer. And because of that, we had to learn some basic semblance of how technology worked, at least on the inside or in the backside. We had to learn how files move from one place to another, how to make sure what you are downloading isn't going to be a virus. We had to learn by failure because the systems that were set up for us were, to be quite honest, very clunky and very ugly and not very intuitive. But because of that, you had to learn to swim by treading the water, so to speak.
But unfortunately, our search for the most seamless user interface has completely flipped that on its head.
They hide every mechanical detail behind toddler-proof interfaces. A simple tap and swipe and information appears. You never see how it works, and that ignorance is the entire strategy, because users who understand mechanics are a lot harder to control. So in my household, we have a NAS, Network Attached Storage. It's a server that is sitting in our home that we physically control. It's not cloud storage where data lives on Google servers or Apple servers. It's a server that I own and where my memories live with me. They already understand this from Plex. Our NAS lets them access movies and shows across devices without needing a company in the middle. Yes, I know we use Plex, but you know what I mean. When Netflix or Disney Plus deletes something, and they will, I can make it reappear on Plex, and once it's there, it stays there unless we choose to remove it. Or even better, I can find the unaltered original versions of things like Star Wars.
And it's not just like movies and TV shows. These are our family photos. These are our family memories. These are everything that my wife and I have gone through since we've pretty much been together, and it's all stored in this one little box. And I can't ever imagine giving all of those memories to someone like Apple or Google and paying them for the privilege of keeping it there. Like the music that will be paramount to my kids becoming adults right now. Like my eldest daughter is really into Lupe right now, and who knows if her music is going to be on Spotify 10, 15 years from now. And this is one of my big things in regards to downloading as opposed to doing like Spotify or Netflix or anything like that, is that those services will remove those items. Like the movies that my kids watched growing up, the things that would comfort them when they were sad, the stuff that formulates who they are today, those are all able to just be removed at the whim of some executive, some random person that I know that I cannot trust. And more than likely, they're going to charge me more money for, once again, the privilege of taking in media that might have more importance to me than it does to them.
Like another quick example. 2009, Google remotely deleted George Orwell's 1984 from Kindle devices. People who purchased the book woke up to find it gone, along with all of their notes and highlights. A high school student lost an entire semester's worth of annotations, and he ended up suing Amazon because of it. If it's on someone else's device, it's never really yours. And it replicates across every system designed around controlled access. Gabe Newell, founder of Steam, recognized this years ago.
You know, there's assumption that what is piracy? Piracy is about people who want to steal stuff from you, right? That they don't want to pay any money and they want to get your content. But when you look at the fact that these people have, you know, $2,000 PCs and, you know, they're spending $50 a month US more on their internet connections, clearly they're willing to spend money.
And I broke down Gabe's strategy in my previous video about how Steam doesn't solve piracy. It just makes controlled access feel like ownership through convenience. And the biggest defense that I see in the comments of that video is, Steam is the best we have. They provide a good service. They don't need to do anything else. Here is what that misses. Valve could reinvest in the communities that built them. Portal started as Narbocular Drop, a student project at DigiPen. Gabe Newell saw the demo and hired the entire team on the spot. Counter-Strike was a Half-Life mod. Valve hired the creators in 2000 and took the IP. Dota 2 came from a Warcraft 3 custom map. Valve hired IceFrog, the creator of Dota 1, in 2009. Team Fortress, Day of Defeat, Alien Swarm, and most recently in 2024 they did it again with Hoppo Games, the Risk of Rain developers. Now this isn't a condemnation of Valve or Steam or anything like that, but the pattern is consistent. You find something successful in your ecosystem, you hire the talent, you absorb the IP, and then you profit. Like, what if they had done something different? What if they have given those developers funding and independence to build their own studios? Not, you work for us
us now, but here's capital, go build something that you own. That's ecosystem investment. That's recognizing the difference between extracting value from your community and genuinely empowering it. But extraction is always going to be more profitable, so that is what you get. The best that we have becomes a lot harder to argue when you know what best we could have actually looks like. And bookmark this comment, timestamp it, whatever. If I ever get video game donkey levels of YouTube famous, you best believe I am opening a creators fund. That has always been the plan. But anyways, you want to do something like play video games with your kids? Like the new Call of Duty just came out. Your family is 6, all want to play together. Well, here's the math. Call of Duty Black Ops 7 supports 2-player split screen and multiplayer. That's it, 2 players maximum per console. So for your family of 6, you're gonna need 3 complete gaming setups. 3 Xbox Series X consoles, that's about $1,500, 3 copies of the game, $210, 3 extra controllers on top of the ones that came with the consoles, $180, and then 3 Xbox Game Pass core subscriptions to play online, so you can all play together online, $225 a year. 6 Activision accounts. Okay, so I just put everything in a cart in Best Buy, and it's like $2,800, so oh man, it's even worse. Jesus. Back in my day, couch co-op used to be the standard. 1 console, 1 game, a few extra controllers, and everyone got to play together. The technology to support 4-player split screen absolutely exists. We had it in the 90s, but fracturing your family across multiple $500 consoles is more profitable than letting everyone play together on one. Like, Nintendo is probably the best example of this now with games like Mario Party and Mario Kart, but even then, I'm not gonna start defending Nintendo in any way.
Don't you have a Switch eShop? Yep. So you could make your legacy content available there at any time. Yep. I'd like to purchase those games on the eShop with my money, without resorting to piracy, which you so thoroughly despise. So you should make them available for Switch. That makes sense to me. Then do it. We currently have no plans to offer classic content in other ways and also don't pirate our game.
But my whole point is that modern American life looks far more exploitative when you have more people to care for. Oh, we also have a 3D printer. My kids can design and print replacement parts for toys and controllers and, Warhammer miniatures. They see how cheap production actually is. They recognize when a company will charge like $70 for a piece of plastic that I could print out for about $3. And because of that, they can recognize actual technological advancement versus planned obsolescence. It's the same philosophy when it comes to digital access. Is this a genuine technical limitation or is it a business model choice? So the moment that I knew the things that I was teaching my kids were actually starting to get through to them, after we got my son's PC set up, I was showing him some websites where he could play, cool free games, stuff like that. And he found out that there was a Pokemon game that he was able to emulate. He knew about emulation and running modded versions of games from watching like Breath of the Wild speedruns and stuff like that. So it wasn't a foreign concept to him. He asked about the game, asked if it really was playable, and I said, yeah, more than likely, but here's the thing. If you want, you can try it out, play it for a little bit, and if you really like it, you can spend your allowance money and buy it for yourself, for your Nintendo Switch. And so he looks at me and he's like, well, how much does it cost normally? And I'm like, well, it's Nintendo. It's gonna cost $70 and you're gonna have to wait for a sale if you want it cheaper. And because it's Nintendo, that's not even guaranteed. And so he does the math in his head and he's like, well, I could just buy like 3 Gundam model kits for that same amount of money. And that's what he ended up doing. He didn't end up downloading the game or anything. He didn't steal anything. He just made a cost-benefit analysis, looked at what they both provided in terms of actual value for him and his wants, and he made a good decision. I think he made a very mature decision. And I'm very proud of him for that. And now they can spot it in their daily lives. The printer that refuses to print unless you buy the cartridges. The car that requires a subscription for heated seats. The streaming service that removes shows that you purchased. Each one reveals the same pattern: convenience as a control mechanism. When console limitations frustrated them, we started going the route of my eldest two kids building their own gaming PC. Not because I pushed them towards it, I was more than happy to help them, but because once you understand that restrictions are intentional, it becomes near impossible to accept them as unchangeable. So to wrap up, like, the whole beginning and end of this is that the literacy gap was always the point, and the literacy gap is how a lot of these corporations just maintain control over art, over media, of all things. Like, yes, there is a lot to be said about the ethics, who's really getting hurt, who is really at fault for whatever systems we have in place. But in my opinion, we are debating about the sharing and proliferation of information, of media, of entertainment, of news. All of that stuff falls under this purview of just being able to download and send data at your own discretion. Like, for years now, we have been told in regards to our media consumption, this is the way that it is. This is the way that it has to be, and we're going to have to keep charging you more for it. But it doesn't. And like, that is the crazy thing, is once you see what your world can look like with a little bit of just knowledge and a little bit of freedom of information, in a way, it's really crazy about how much more your world can open up. Like, I didn't even get into subjects of like censorship. I barely touched on like revisionist history and art and stuff like that. But in a world where dead internet theory is real, I mean, how else are we going to keep and share the real stuff that people made? That is why I kind of just wanted to ramble and rant about this topic today, just because we as consumers, we that live in a society, like, we decide what comes next and how we move forward. And especially now that we are increasingly just giving all of our data, all of our information, all of our memories over to whoever can hold it to us for the cheapest amount of money, it just seems kind of ludicrous to me. So yeah, I will 100% admit it to you guys. I have taught my kids how to pirate. I've taught them how to torrent. I've taught them how to download stuff. Ooh. And you know what? They don't even really do it that often. They don't really have that much that they need to download, but they know that if there is ever something online that they really need or really want to encounter, they can probably find it. And they also have the tools to go find it themselves. Seriously, go find a Gen Alpha kid, ask them to like make a Word document and download it onto an iPad and then transfer it to a laptop and see what happens. So teach your kids how File Explorer works, please. All right, if you made it this far, I really appreciate you sticking with me for a lot more of a loosely structured, bit more of a rambly video. I just wanted to get one more video out in December, and then I'm spending the rest of my time working on my big end of the year video. It's gonna be like about an hour long or so. So yeah, I'm hoping to have it out within the next couple weeks. And yeah, until then, just stay posted. Maybe I'll squeeze in one more video. I doubt it. I'll probably just move it to January. But yes, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about like the proliferation of personal digital media and technology in the modern day. Like, be honest. Do you still download stuff? I still download stuff. It's not even because I want free stuff. It's because of the fact that like consumerism sucks. So yeah, let me know what you think. I'll talk to you guys in a couple weeks. Bye.